Would you say Killer Bean is the most ambitious cinematic project of the 21st century? Sí, por supuesto. Sim. Sí, certo. Oui, certainement. But why does French do that? When the other Romance languages have some form of si, why do we have oui in French? Is French just trying to be the bad boy, the rebellious one of the Romance languages? Well, wait and see, because that's what we are going to talk about in this video. As you can see in most of the examples just given earlier, most of the Romance languages follow a pretty simple pattern. When they want to say yes, they say some version of si. These all proceed from the Latin sic. Even when Cristiano Ronaldo did his famous si, he was following the model of the other Romance languages. But why does French have oui? Well, the answer lies as usual in Latin. You see, the Romans never had a single definitive way of saying yes. There was a whole variety. Usually, you would just respond in the affirmative version of the verb that was being used at the time. If, for example, I were a Roman and I asked you, venis, are you coming? You would answer, venio, I am coming. If you maybe wanted to be a little bit more brief, you might say sic, but you might just as well say ita. You might say vero. You might say hoc ile. There were a whole variety of ways of affirming a statement in Latin. And it just so happens that the majority of modern Western Romance languages derive their simple affirmative from one particular Latin variant, sic. Well, the majority of Western Romance kingdoms adopted simply some version of sic to express the simple affirmative. The Frankish kingdom was a bit more divided. You see, most of them were agreed upon using hoc ile for reasons I'm not entirely certain. Maybe comment down below if you know a bit more than me. But the way in which hoc ile evolved in the Frankish kingdoms was different north to south. And there arose this division in the Middle Ages between those who spoke the langue d'oc, in which the oc part of hoc ile was conserved, and those who spoke the langue d'huile, in which the ile part of hoc ile was conserved. The langue d'huile speakers were majority in the north of the Frankish kingdom of medieval France, and the Languedoc speakers were in the majority in the southern part of modern-day France. Of course, as many of us know, the capital of France ended up being Paris, and for that reason, political and linguistic prestige flowed from that region in particular. And for that reason, French speakers started adopting some version of oui, which proceeds from the langue d'huile. The Languedoc speakers were largely marginalized, put to the side, not part of essentially the standard French dialect that would evolve over the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. And that's pretty much the very simple answer to that big question, why French has oui, but Spanish, Portuguese, and Italian have si. Now, I'm very conscious that I haven't covered every single Romance language here. Romance languages exist on a continuum. I'm fully aware of that. So if your Romance language, or if you know of a Romance language that doesn't have some version of si or oui in it, let me know in the comments below. I'd be really fascinated to find out about that. But for now, that's the answer I can give to this really interesting question. Why the French say oui, whereas the rest of the Romance speakers have some form of si. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.